We start by telling you that the presidency has dismissed allegations that provisions of the newly enacted tax reform laws were altered outside due legislative process, insisting the laws were passed and signed in line with constitutional procedures. The clarification follows calls by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, and several civil society organizations for the suspension of the law's implementation. President Bola Tinubu recently assented to 4 tax reform bills aimed at overhauling Nigeria's tax system, with implementation slated to begin on January 1, 2026. The controversy was sparked by claims from a lawmaker, Abdulsamad Dasuki, who alleged discrepancies between the versions passed by the National Assembly and those gazetted, warning the issue could expose the laws to legal challenges. In response, the House of Representatives has constituted a 7-member ad hoc committee to investigate the allegations. Away from that, a major fire broke out on Saturday at the headquarters of the Federal Inland Revenue Service in Abuja, sending thick black smoke into the sky and triggering an emergency response in Wuse Zone 5. The blaze affected part of the multi-story complex in Sokodi Crescent, forcing staff and visitors to evacuate as firefighters worked to contain the flames. Officials said the cause of the fire and the extent of damage to records were yet to be determined. The incident caused concern among residents, with videos widely shared on social media as emergency teams remained on site. Let's now switch our attention to security matters. Barely days after gunmen abducted worshippers from a church in Ayetoro-Kiri, Kabba-Bunu local government area of Kogi State, fresh attacks have been recorded in other parts of the council. The attackers reportedly struck Ihale and Ole communities in the Borno axis on Friday, December 19, killing and abducting an unspecified number of residents. Sources say the first attack occurred in Ihale in the morning, where several people were taken away. Later in the evening, the assailants moved to Ole, abducting more residents. Both communities were said to have resisted the attackers, leading to casualties. Chairman of the local government area, Barrister Zacchaeus Dare, expressed sympathy with the affected communities and families mourning the loss of innocent lives, including security operatives. We are assured that the council, working with security agencies, has intensified efforts to secure the safe release of all abducted victims. To help us evaluate government measures against kidnapping and banditry, especially in rural communities, we are joined by civilian intelligence analyst Umar Jijiwa. Umar, thank you so much for coming around.
Thank you.
So let's start with the recent attacks in rural communities. How would you assess the government's response so far?
I think the government are doing what they can do, and they're responding as fast as they can. But you have to understand that issues of security are not necessarily publicized by them. We only see results, or we see failure when government acts when it comes to security issues. And from what we understand, I think they're doing their best, and they're taking some steps. But it's natural and it's normal for criminal elements and also for activities like this to come up, especially when we are about to end the year. This is nothing new. It's something that has been happening for years and decades like that. It's unfortunate that it's happening, but I believe that the government, they're taking some serious action, especially when you see some of the adjustments that the president has made.
Let's merge government actions with the country's security apparatus. Do you believe that our security agencies are well equipped to handle the rising wave of kidnappings and banditry in the country?
I believe that they're equipped enough. They're equipped enough to be able to handle this issue. But for me to say they are well equipped, I can't say it because we see stronger nations having stronger equipment than us. So we're not well equipped, but we're equipped enough for this particular issue that we're having. But of course, we have to upgrade our weapons, we have to upgrade our equipment. If not, we'll continuously be left behind by the international community. We have to be able to match what other people have. We have to be able to keep up to what our colleagues are doing outside the country as well. But for this issue, we are equipped enough.
Okay, so if you say that, let's look at your perspective to what we understand as main weaknesses in Nigeria's current security framework. Would you say that there are loopholes that would need to be plugged?
Of course. Of course. So many issues have come up, and so many security issues might be put down to poor strategy. Some might be put down to sabotage, and some might just be put down to the fact that some of our men are not really that patriotic and don't see the need to put their lives in the line. But it's getting better now, because when you look at the president approving the mass recruitment, police, army, all this, it's just so that we can be able to build our capacity to do better. But there are so many loopholes. But they are definitely closing those loopholes. The issue when we talk about loopholes when it comes to security is that for a civilian, we might not know that there's a loophole there until when something happens, because it's the criminal themselves that actually look for loopholes that they're going to take advantage of. But I know for sure, every time that there's a loophole, it is blocked.
Okay, so you mentioned patriotism in your summation a while ago. Let's look at it from the angle of the subnationals. Are local governments, of course, and state governments doing enough to actually support federal security operations on ground?
They're not. You see, when you talk about security, a governor is not in charge of any security agency in Nigeria. They don't control the police. They don't control the army. Well, they have more money now, so they can go into state police. And of course, I'm a supporter of state police as well. But at the moment, they don't give the orders. They can't even give the orders. They don't have the capacity to tell the police or the army what to do. And then if we're talking about governor, and they want to go down to local government, what can they do? When you talk about local government, if not that we want to give our traditional rulers a constitutional responsibility, a constitutional role to participate in governance, to also contribute what they can contribute in security, we can't even discuss local government here. If we are saying that the governor cannot control soldiers, then what can a local government do? We have to get our royal fathers to participate in security. We have to give them constitutional powers for them to settle disputes and take actions. They have to be the first port of call. Because they are the easiest people to access by the locals, because those locals take their problems and their fears to them. So if we don't give them a constitutional responsibility, then it comes down to how much a monarch is respected. So when you now come to a place whereby a monarch is not really that respected and he has credible information coming up, nobody is going to take action on it. If a governor cannot control, So I think for local government, it's not even a discussion for what can they do. I believe the only way it can work is if we bring our traditional institution into it.
All right. Now, Umar, you are a civilian intelligence analyst. How effective are our intelligence and early warning systems in preventing attacks in our communities?
It's quite good. The problem isn't the intelligence. The intelligence is always available. The problem is that you have to look at all intelligence, and then you have to make a decision and put them on a scale of preference of what is more important than what, and then you take action on it. It's unfortunate that you could see what happened in Niger State, where we had soldiers that were redeployed, and then terrorists took advantage of that. This goes to show you that as we are getting intelligence, they are also getting intelligence. We saw what happened to General Uba. He gave out his information, he gave out his location, and see what happened. So intelligence is both ways, but the intelligence flow is available, but it's about action. It's about action. Do we have the numbers needed to take action on every single intelligence that comes in? We don't. Is every single intelligence that comes in credible? No. So that is the decision of the government, and that's the hardest part of governance. Intelligence will come, but you have to be able to take a decision on which ones which ones are more important and which ones are real, which ones are, you have to put them on a scale of preference. So that's why governance is quite difficult, but the intelligence is available.
Okay. There have been also talks for the need to take decisive steps in establishing state police. So when we talk about state police, community policing, would you say that it's a key strategy in preventing attacks in our states and local communities?
You see, every little helps when it comes to security. Every little helps. Even you, as a journalist, if you can contribute to security of this country, it helps a lot. So state police is important. Even community policing. Even neighborhood policing. It's all important when it comes to security. Every little helps. And also, it will give governors a sense of belonging. It will give them more confidence. It will make them want to participate more in securing this country. It will make them feel like stakeholders in the security architecture if they have state police. We understand the fears for political reasons, but we need to push that away. Because politics is only done in a place that people are alive. We saw an election in 2015 that was postponed because of security. So when we discuss security, it's higher than politics. And I mean, even if a governor wants to use it against his political enemies, he's only there for 8 years. It will be used against him as well. So of course, we can have some safeguards to control these things, but I believe it should be done. It should be done. Every little helps when it comes to securing this country.
So how then do we now shift? We know there is a lack of political will, right? But then how do we shift from focusing on reactionary measures instead of preventive measures to stop or nip these attacks?
You see, when it comes to the proactive measures that can be taken, it will shock you to know that the government actually do these things. Citizen collaboration, the civilian intelligence analysts, intelligence gathering, traditional institution. I mean, we all have to play our parts. We all have to play our parts when it comes to that. And that's the only way. But of course, it's proactive to recruit more people to come here to secure us. It's proactive. I believe so. And that's why the president took the action that he took. We're going to have more police. We're going to have more soldiers. We're going to have so many other things. But the most important thing is this. Even soldiers, police, whatever, they are also human beings. They are human beings. And that's the truth. So we need to, as Nigerians, we need to appreciate them a bit more. They put their lives on the line for us. We need to give them that sense of pride. When we see them, they need to know that we appreciate their efforts. With that, they will have the morale to go out there and fight for us. The most proactive measure that government can take is to take good care of the families of those that lose their lives in action. By so doing, you will have morale, you will have so much energy coming into the system. People will be ready to die. They'll be ready to serve. There is nothing more proactive than that. Welfare.
Okay.
That is the most proactive measure that we can take.
Okay, so Umar, even as we wrap up on this, we've heard stories of bandits or terrorists who use more sophisticated weapons than our security personnel possess. And also, we've heard of technology and surveillance being part of security discussions during security briefs. How do we improve on technological tools for government to be able to also improve on its response in decimating these insurgents?
Well, we cannot be so sure about the weapons that they have because we don't know the weapons that they have. And that's the truth. Because if we knew the weapons that they had, the government would have taken it away from them because that's their job to do that. So The thing is this, I feel that we're equipped. We're not well equipped, but we're equipped enough. We have to upgrade our architecture, okay? We have to get the best equipment out there. It shouldn't be because our bandits or our terrorists have a certain kind of gun. No. This is Nigeria. We're supposed to be the heart of Africa, the most powerful black nation in the world. We should have the best equipment, not because of those bandits that are in the bush. No. Just because of our level as Nigeria, we should have the best. We should have the best guns, best helicopters, best jets, but whatever it takes. I mean, we are enough for it. We are Nigeria.
And while we discuss this, Omar, we see that Nigerians are actually scared and they don't even know who to trust. How do we restore public confidence in government and also reassure citizens that they are safe?
I mean, Nigerians have to remember how it used to be and how it is now. If not for just recent times, I mean, we had some smooth sailing for about 2.5 years, I think. And then this year, we saw a spike. This is simply because the criminal elements became a bit more active. And when it comes to war against terrorism, it's multifaceted. And the government, Nigerians need to know that the government is doing their best. For the first time, we have a national security advisor that is taking certain steps by including civilians, working with communities. We changed our service chiefs. The president has Nigeria at heart. Nigerians need to know this. We have to start trusting our leaders. We believe they're doing their best. Of course, it's not 100%. It's not 100%. But Nigerians should be proud of their country, should be proud of their president, and should trust their president. If we do that, I believe that we're going to have a better country.
Yeah, and we hope that we'll be able to win the war against terrorism in no distant time. Civilian intelligence analyst Omar Jijiwa, thank you so much for your profound knowledge that you shared with us on the news.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're not done with security stories, all right? We go on a very short break. When we return, we'll be back at it. Many thanks for being there. As the festive season approaches, the Edo State government says it is fully prepared to receive visitors, assuring them of adequate security and a vibrant cultural experience. News Central's Amaze Bazwe reports that the Edo State Diaspora Agency and the Edo State Tourism Agency say ongoing investments in safety and tourism infrastructure are already yielding positive outcomes. At a joint press briefing in Benin City, the Director General of the Edo State Diaspora Agency, Dr. Loretta Odoroko, and the Managing Director of the Edo State Tourism Agency, Lady Vivian Elabo, said the government has enhanced security measures and tourism structures to ensure a safe, enjoyable, and memorable festive period for both residents and visitors.
We have finalized the draft of our Edo State Diaspora Foreign Policy. And this is where His Excellency is champion, because he has made the policy such that it encourages diasporans to come and invest. Simple example, taxation relief for the time of investment for diasporans. He's agreed that this is going to be 2 years. And if it is the children, i.e. first generation diasporan, second generation diasporan or third generation diasporan, you are going to have a longer time depending on the investment area.
To the media, we say thank you. We see you. We appreciate you. Be our partners in telling the true story. Beautiful story of the Edo State people. To the good people of Edo State, get ready to welcome the world in this Yuletide season. And to the world, we say, Obokia. Come to Edo, you will love it.
Now, we tell you that the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has re-elected its National Working Committee members to steer the affairs of the party for another 4 years at its National Elective Convention held in Abuja on Saturday. The party ratified the return of Dr. Atiku Abubakar as national chairman alongside other national officers. The convention, which drew delegates from across the country, followed the conclusion of congresses at the ward, local government and zonal levels. Chairman of the Convention Planning Committee, Bala Muhammadu, noted that the process adhered strictly to the party's constitution and guidelines submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Also speaking, the national leader of the party and former governor of Kano State, Senator Rabiu Kokonso, charged the new executives to remain loyal and disciplined.
As the tenure of the current national officers comes to an end, it has become necessary to conduct election in line with our party constitution to usher in new leadership that will continue to steer the affairs of the party at the national level.
The NNPP's flag must fly higher and higher at every nook and corner of Nigeria to reassure our citizens that a new, better, greater, and prosperous Nigeria is possible as obtainable in the state of Kano, led by our indefatigable governor, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf.
I want to say, so far so good, and we are keeping our eyes on INEC because its job is so critical that will certainly make more democracy in this country. So we thank you for coming, and we look forward to even better relationship between INEC and, of course, with our party.
We tie that to politics, and we tell you that the All Progressives Congress has once again closed ranks behind President Bola Tinubu as party leaders at the National Executive Committee meeting passed a renewed vote of confidence in its leadership and reform agenda. New Central State House correspondent Bettina Mweli reports.
President Bola Tinubu has called for tolerance, inclusiveness, and strict adherence to democratic principles, while outlining plans for improved security through state policing, forest rangers, and respect for judicial decisions.
We are going for state police. We will do the forest rangers. We will have them. We will defeat those terrorists and bandits. We must. I listened to the chairman on the e-registration. Allow it. Don't elbow, don't shut the door against the people.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio urged governors to carry lawmakers along, stressing that democracy thrives on cooperation between the executive and the legislature. Earlier, Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma commended the president's economic and security reforms, saying they have stabilized the economy, improved revenue to states, and boosted investor confidence.
We are also glad that Mr. President's fire for fire approach to insecurity is bearing fruits. Specifically, the lightning-fast rescue of the kidnapped victims in Kebbi State, in Kwara State, and in Niger States.
So whilst I applaud the APC governors for their strides. I just want to appeal that you carry along the National Assembly members, the House of Assembly members in your various states.
Between June 2023 and June 2025, the House processed 2,263 bills. Of these, 237 were passed. 68 have already received presidential assent, the highest of any president since 1999 at the 2-year point.
The meeting concluded with calls for unity and continued engagement within the party, as leaders reaffirmed their commitment to democratic governance and national development. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina Nwili.
Now, talking about cybersecurity, beyond oil and gas, Nigeria is emerging as a key player in the data economy, making cybersecurity increasingly vital. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has trained 30 Nigerians in Port Harcourt on computer networking and cybersecurity to improve local data access and connectivity. News Central's Biola Festus tells us more.
Nigeria is recognized as one of the fastest growing emerging tech ecosystems in the world. Globally, nearly 90% of activities have been digitalized, and sectors not yet at the tech frontier are racing to catch up. As demand for digital tech skills soars, cybersecurity expertise has become crucial. By training local personnel, the NCDMB aims to close the gap, particularly in Nigeria's communities.
Cybersecurity is basically providing security for digital systems in a digital world. Participants were trained on first the beginner level and then taken to an intermediate level of both topics, both subjects on cybersecurity and networking. With this foundational knowledge and also hands-on experience, they'd be able to function in a real-world scenario.
Cybercrime in Nigeria and across the globe is surging, turning data protection into the new lifeline for every thriving industry, sector, and livelihood.
Having been trained in cybersecurity, the next phase for me is practice. Practice, full-fledged practice. The village square is the internet, so there is nothing in this world that you will do without going digital. So cybersecurity is key.
For beneficiaries, the digital space just got better for their communities, having received adequate training and support from the NCDMB to delve into tech.
This training I just had has actually empowered me, so I think I'm going to pour it out to individuals. People I think might be so interested in it, so I'm going to teach them more about it.
The NCDMB's training program equips participants with skills to protect data and safeguard critical infrastructure in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, aligning with the board's broader mandate to develop local talent and strengthen cybersecurity across the industry. In Rivers, for News Central, Biola Festus.
We quickly dash to the southern part of Africa to tell you that at least 10 people were killed and 10 others wounded when unidentified gunmen opened fire at a township outside of Johannesburg, South Africa, police said on Sunday. The attack occurred in Bekkersdal, about 40 kilometers southwest of Johannesburg, near an informal tavern in the impoverished community. Police said some of the victims were shot randomly in the streets, while the motive for the violence remains unclear. The injured were rushed to nearby hospitals for treatment, according to authorities in Gauteng province. The incident marks the second mass shooting in South Africa this month. On December 6, gunmen killed 12 people, including a 3-year-old child, during an attack at a hostel near Pretoria. South Africa continues to grapple with high levels of violent crime and has one of the world's highest murder rates. And at this point, News Central's correspondent Bongani Siziba joins us live from South Africa to give us updates as regards to the shooting. Bongani, please take us through what actually happened in Bekkersdal.
Yes, good afternoon, Lekon, and also good afternoon to our viewers. Indeed, South Africa is grappling with gun violence, as this is not the first incident this month. We know last week that DJ Waras, a celebrity DJ, was gunned down in the CBD, and a week or 2 weeks ago also people were gunned down in Pretoria. This showing, highlighting the crime rate in South Africa and also the gun violence that is happening in South Africa. But here where I am, I would move out of the shot just for my colleagues Bonelo Mkasibe to show you around. This is the crime scene that is still active here. As you can see, the forensic, they are discussing about what they found out on this scene. There were bodies lying down all over here, about 9 bodies, and 10 people were taken to hospital this morning. This happened at around 1 a.m. at this tavern, that is Wanokolo tavern, where we understand eyewitnesses say that a white combi just came in with more than 10, 12 people, and they just started shooting around. They were shooting around anything or anyone who was on their way. We also understand that an Uber driver who was just parked outside here was also shot at, and we saw being moved around more than 5 bullets that you could see that 5 bullets were shot at. So this is the incident that happened here. Earlier on, we spoke to the Deputy Commissioner of Gauteng. He spoke about how rife gun violence is in South Africa and how authorities are trying to also curb crime. But in this community, as we were speaking to community members, if I could ask my cameraman also to show you on the side, we can see community members that are gathered here. Earlier in the morning, there were more people that. Speaking to some of these community members, they were saying that this place is not safe for them because they were saying that the police are not visible in this area, and there is a lot of crime that is happening here. Even when their children are coming back from school, they are being robbed. Even them, when they come back from work, they are being robbed. So they were calling on the authorities, especially the police, to be visible in this area. So this is still an active crime scene where we are. Police, we understand they are still investigating, trying to find out those suspects who came in around 1 a.m. and just shot randomly here. But
so I'd like you to just give us a roundup of this now. Let's have a conclusion of what the next steps will be in apprehending these assailants.
The next step is for the police, as they indicated that they are still searching for this suspect, because according to the community members, they say this suspect came randomly, and we know that close by there are illegal mines that are there. So some suspect that maybe it's a tough war from the illegal mining that is happening on the other side. Some also suspect businesses. So the authorities are investigating what might be the motive behind this random shooting early in the hours of Sunday morning.
To the families of these victims, we hope that the South African police would actually get these people arrested and tried in courts. It was nice having you, Bongani Siziba, share these details with us on the news. We'll track back with you in our subsequent bulletins. Let's now go back to Nigerian stories now, as we continue to look at the local scene to, of course, tell you that the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, has restated his administration's commitment to people-centered policies and labor-friendly policies that will improve education and development in the state. The governor, represented by his deputy, Josephine Pio, spoke at the 18th National Dialogue Delegates Conference of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, with the theme, Migrating from Trade Unionism to Management, Harnessing the Benefits and Role Changes for the Next Stage of the Struggle. The Central's Chizobanyowe tells us more.
This is the highest decision-making body of all polytechnic institutions in Nigeria. The delegates say they are here to brainstorm on issues of interest to the union on how best to pilot the affairs of polytechnics in Nigeria. Governor Mutfwang, represented at the event by his deputy, describes the meeting as a legacy of intellectual dialogue for more progressive, modern and inclusive labor movements.
It's not only timely but visionary. It reflects a deep understanding that the future of labor leadership will no longer depend solely on agitation, but on innovation, collaboration, strategic thinking, and management expertise.
Among the challenges facing the union include the non-establishment of a regulatory body for polytechnics, unlike other tertiary institutions, among others.
Among the three legs of the tertiary institution, the university have a national commission for university. The College of Education have a commission, National Commission of College of Education. But the polytechnics is the only tertiary institution, sector in tertiary institution that does not have a commission. So one of our agitation is that the polytechnics should be allowed to mount dual mode, that is ND and BTech.
Therefore, the challenges before us is not whether such transition should not happen. They are inevitable. The real question is how do we harness the benefits inherent in these rule changes to advance the next phase of the struggle for a stronger polytechnic sector.
The delegates are hopeful that the resolutions reached here will receive speedy attention that will improve administration activities in polytechnics across the country. In Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Anyomi.
From Plateau, we take you to Edo State, where the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady of the state, Edesili Okpewola-Nani, has been honored at the 2025 Leadership and Development Awards for a role in advancing inclusive leadership, youth empowerment, and women-focused development initiatives in the state. News Central's Amenza Bazwaye reports that she was among over 200 recipients of the prestigious awards.
At a time when leadership is increasingly measured by impact, not titles, the 2025 Leadership and Development Awards provided a platform to spotlight excellence and inspire responsibility. Among the award recipients was the coordinator of the Office of the Edo First Lady, Edesili Okpewola-Nani, whose work in promoting youth development, women inclusion, and social transformation earned her commendation from the organizers. Speaking at the event, Okpewola-Nani applauded the leadership and development initiatives for spotlighting leaders whose impact goes beyond positions, noting that true leadership must be anchored on service, innovation, and integrity.
The need to create a change for a better society is collective. It's not just on one person or on government. It's for you and I to make a change that we deserve to see. I would like to say this to the leaders of tomorrow, our youth, that we should, as much as we can, shun all kinds and all forms of violence.
Team Lead, Leadership and Development Initiatives, Dr. Sonny Duke Okosun said the awards recognize individuals and institutions shaping society through innovation and responsible leadership, describing the honorees as role models for future generations.
We're trying to establish that nexus between leadership and development. You want to get development, you want to see development, you want to see transformation. You must get it right with leadership. If you have a governor who is doing well, and that's because there is adequate support, collaboration, synergy with his deputy, as well as the First Lady of Edo State, who is very forward-thinking and very accommodating, accessible in terms of advancing the cause of women, advocating the rights of women, and all of those issues.
A keynote lecture by Professor Festus Olise emphasized the role of knowledge, continuous learning, and mentorship in producing effective leaders, while the chairman of the occasion, Professor Raphael Edupia, urged Nigerians to reflect on the kind of leadership needed for national development. In Edo, for News Central, Ameze Bazwayi.
A break will do you on the news. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away. We'll now tell you that Safe Schools project has recorded a sharp increase in school registrations amid growing concerns over kidnappings in rural areas. Reports show that 14,685 schools are now registered under the initiative, up from 11,550 just a month ago. The surge was confirmed by Commander of the National Safe Schools Response and Coordination Center, Emmanuel Ocheja. Launched in 2014 following the abduction of over 200 schoolgirls in Chibok. The project was designed to safeguard schools from such attacks, yet many schools remain vulnerable. Ocheja also announced that more security personnel would be deployed to schools in 2026 to strengthen protection and prevent potential threats. In the ongoing fight against drug trafficking, Nigerian authorities have scored another victory. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrested a 39-year-old Shodunke Yetunde Simbiat at a Lagos home, recovering 23.5 kilograms of cocaine from her children's room. The seized drugs are valued at over 5 billion naira in street value. This comes 20 months after the arrest of kingpins, namely Bolanle Dauda and Olayinka Dauda, whose capture led to the seizure of 57.5 kilograms of cocaine. NDLEA operations across the country this December also intercepted traffickers carrying tramadol, chapentadol, and skunk cannabis, seizing hundreds of kilograms of drugs and thousands of opioid pills in Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Kogi, and Kaduna states. The agency says these arrests signal its relentless commitment to the anti-narcotics war, particularly ahead of the festive season. Outside of Africa, Ukraine and Portugal have agreed to deepen defense cooperation, including the joint production of maritime drones, as Kiev seeks to strengthen its naval capabilities amid the ongoing war with Russia. The agreement was announced in Kiev during talks between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Portuguese Prime Minister Luis Montenegro, marking an expansion of military and industrial collaboration between the two countries. The development comes as Zelensky confirmed that the United States has proposed new face-to-face talks between Ukraine and Russia, potentially the first in 6 months. Diplomats from Ukraine, Russia, the United States, and Europe gathered in Miami for discussions aimed at ending the conflict.
Сьогодні є спільна, важлива дуже спільна заява України та Португалії. Щойно ми підписали її про встановлення партнерства для виробництва морських дронів. Це один з найбільш перспективних напрямів в оборонній роботі зараз. Важливо, щоб були результати. І в усіх частинах нашої Європи має бути достатньо сили, щоб протидіяти будь-яким загрозам. І сучасні дрони – це реальний інструмент захисту.
In business, Nigeria's average daily gas supply has risen to 4.684 billion standard cubic feet per day in November 2025, up from 3.94 billion standard cubic feet per day in October. This is driven by improved utilization at major gas processing plants and steady exports. This is according to data from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, or NNPP. NLNG trains 1 to 6 processed 3.5 billion standard cubic feet per day at 73.7% utilization, while the Sokhu gas plants emerged as the top performer at 96.84%. Domestic gas supply increased slightly, with power, commercial users and gas-based industries recording marginal gains. Exports via NLNG and the West African gas pipeline remain strong. Despite an LPG supply surplus, Retail prices stayed high due to transport costs, FX pressures, and import dependence, underscoring persistent structural challenges in the gas sector. In the meantime, Nigeria's information and communication technology sector contributed 9.44 trillion naira to the economy in Q3 of 2025, underscoring its growing importance and renewed calls for aggressive broadband expansion. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed telecommunications and information services led with 7.47 trillion naira, up 1.22% year-on-year, though down from Q2 levels. Broadcasting contributed 1.04 trillion naira, while motion pictures and music added 911.77 billion naira. Despite the sector's weight, stakeholders warned that poor connectivity outside urban centers limits growth. In sports, the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations officially gets underway today. As hosts nation, Morocco welcomes Africa, setting the stage for what promises to be another compelling chapter in Africa's football's flagship competition. Hosts Morocco face Comoros in the opening match at 8 p.m. local time. Ranked 11th in the world and Africa's top-ranked nation, Morocco begin their 20th AFCON appearance as clear favorites, backed by home support and history. Comoros, ranked 108th globally, are appearing at the finals for just the second time, but carried a fearless reputation that saw them reach the round of 16 on debut in 2021. And this is the second AFCON meeting between both sides. Morocco have won 3 of their 4 previous encounters, including a 2-0 victory at AFCON 2021. History also favors the hosts. No AFCON host has lost an opening match this century, with 9 wins and 6 draws since the year 2000. And that's all on the news at this hour. Let's look at our top stories anyway before we go. Presidency denies alleged alterations of tax law as Atiku Abubakar demand suspension of reforms. Safe Schools Initiative records sharp increase in registrations amid rising kidnappings. We also told you that the deadly gun attack that was reported in South Africa Township has killed 10 and injured 10 in a mass shooting. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. You can also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Also, watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV, channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onabanjo.